I think probably for myself and for most men, I think probably the most powerful initial impact would have been going through the power wheel and recognizing your own place on it. And as the leader of my group at the time, I had a chance to kind of preview that, and seeing my own tendencies reflected in that power wheel in terms of aggressive behavior or abusive behavior was, to be honest with you, very unsettling. It made me feel really bad about the way I had behaved in the past, and becoming aware of how I'm behaving, at the time and even now sometimes. So I think the initial awareness of our intersection with the culture of violence against women in general, even as someone who would be considered to be a good man, which most people, I think, probably consider me that way. They can look at me as being a good man, and yet here I am confronting my own complicity in this system of violence and disrespect and abuse, albeit on a relatively passive level, but yet it's there. So for me and for the participants that went through this with me, and we were all equal in that regard, I think the dawning awareness of that this does not apply only to all men. Some of this applies to me. Confronting it from what I liked about the program was that it gave us the sort of the, shall we say, secular view, and then again it brought it back down to scriptural contextualization in terms of bringing in scriptures that reflect the attitudes that we are supposed to embody and the behaviors that we're supposed to practice as Christians, and as Christian men in particular. Having said that, what I realized, and again bringing this down to me, was I realized that as we went through the program and I began to talk to my wife and share what we were going through, and I discovered to my horror that she had gotten to the point because of my, I guess, neglect or indifference, to the point where if I said that I loved her, she no longer believed me. And not based on my words, but based on my actions or lack thereof. I'm not, fortunately, I'm not one who has been physically violent, but yet I have created tremendous emotional damage in the way that I have treated her over the years, and confronting that reality from her perspective, not mine, hers. I learned, and I continue to learn, that in my case, you don't have to raise your voice to yell. She'll tell me, "You're yelling." And I'm not yelling, it's just, "You're yelling." The takeaway that I benefited from, and I can only speak for myself, is that this builds in me an awareness of the impact that my actions or lack of actions or my attitudes or the tone of my voice or my impatience, in my case, how that affects and impacts the person that I love. This is not how I want to treat the person that I love. And here I am. It's exactly what I've done, to the point where she no longer believes me when I tell her I love her. This is unacceptable. So I have, with her counseling and help and a lot of tough conversations, we have come to a much better place in our marriage. She is much more ready to hold me accountable and to call out, and I am much more tolerant and patient and able to take that kind of criticism from her perspective. And I think that's the the foundational part of this is that we take it out of that crazy man box, false masculinity attitude that we're somehow all ingrained with, and turn it around and look at things through her perspective, through her eyes, through her heart. If we are able to do that, we become far more manly, far more masculine, far more faithful to the kind of ideals that are held up to us as to what real men are supposed to be, and are able to kind of step away from all the false, as we talk about here in the Marlboro Man kind of example of just self-sufficiency and indifference and power. When you give that up, when you really walk away from that and you see it for what it is, and you begin to really coordinate with your partner, with your girlfriend, with your mom, with your sisters, with your female co-workers, you will find that a whole new world opens up to you that we were shutting ourselves off from as men by simply never acknowledging or becoming aware of it. There's a whole world out there that is available to us that is far better than what we have built for ourselves in what we call the man box. So I'm grateful to the program. I'm grateful to all the developers who put so much wonderful work and thought into this. It has positively impacted my life at all levels, both spiritually and in my marriage, emotionally. I think that if you take this seriously, if you open up and have the courage to look at yourself honestly and find that there's a good man there who really wants to come out, I think you will benefit tremendously, as I did and as all the participants in our program did. So I encourage you to stick with it. I encourage you to take the hard look, to do the hard work, and to talk to your female companions and co-workers and listen.